Stephanie Johnwell is our next speaker, and the purpose of her speech is to inform or instruct. She is speaking from the Advanced Communications Manual, and this is speech number 6. What I have learned so far as a member of Toastmasters International. I am an avid learner. I enjoy exchange of information between friends and colleagues. I thrive on growing and learning new things and taking on new challenges. Help me welcome Stephanie as she talks about what she's learned so far as a member of Toastmasters.
Yeah. My first introduction with Toastmasters was in 2002. I had taken on a new challenge at work, and one of my colleagues was attending Toastmasters. My boss at the time, who happened to be my mentor, gave me the opportunity to attend these Toastmasters meetings with my colleague. The meeting started at 7:30 in the morning. Therefore, it was before I went to work. And it met down the street at the Denny's restaurant. The first time I attended the Toastmasters meeting, they had table topics, and then they had you vote who was the best table topics. I won on the first day. I thought, wow, this is really great. I kind of like this. I went back to another meeting, and they talked about the communication books, and they talked about what it would take to get to the next level and how many speeches are required. However, they didn't explain to me that it's up to you how long you take. It's your journey. You can accomplish that right away, or you can take up to 5 years if you chose to do so. I was in school at the time, again, and working full-time, and I decided that this would be too much for me. Therefore, I did not join the club. However, it had always been in the back of my mind to get back into Toastmasters. Mind you, I do presentations at work. I do impromptu speaking. I've been doing that for years. And the funny thing is, every time I get up to teach a class or to do some type of speech, I am very, very nervous. And I find that people always tell me, you don't seem nervous, you just seem so comfortable. Underneath all of this, I'd be shaking. I took on another job at one point in my career, and my then boss, it was at another facility, was very, very critical. We would have what are called policy and procedure meetings, where people would have to get up and report out, and quality meetings, and other meetings. And I just noticed that when people around the room got up to give their presentation or to speak on what was going on in their department, their hands would be shaking. And it made me very nervous because I watched how they commenced to tearing these individuals down. It really got to me, and I lost my ability to speak as well as I had been doing in the past. I became so conscientious of being grilled or being criticized or not living up to their standards. I eventually left that site, and I had to regain my confidence, but it didn't come back completely the way that it was before, which is why I decided I want to join Toastmasters. I'll never forget the first time I came here. The room was filled to the hilt. It is usually more people here than you see tonight. It's 15 or more. This is the smallest that I've seen since I've been a member in over a year. And I was very impressed, not only with the president, his enthusiasm was so great, and people got up and they spoke and they did impromptu speaking, and I just remember thinking, I don't know when I'm going to give my first speech. However, I had a goal that I'm really going to put my all into this. I believe it was my second meeting or third meeting, but it was in that month that I'd signed up. Because I signed up right away because I wanted to go to their training, and they were looking for speakers as of tonight, like tonight, because there weren't any people on the roster or many. I got up to give my impromptu speech, and it was my icebreaker. I remember thinking, okay, I can do this. It's about telling about towards the end of my speech, my legs were shaking. I felt so nervous. And that was one of the things that I really wanted to tackle. I don't care that I get nervous because I think some healthy nerves are good for you. You don't ever want to get to the point to where you're so confident and you think I got this. But it got to the point where my voice was shaking and I knew that there was something that I needed to do about this. What I've learned so far in Toastmasters as being a member is that everybody pretty much is nervous. And it's okay if you mess up. Most people won't judge you harshly. The whole purpose of Toastmasters is for us to grow and become better, starting right where we are. And I've learned along the way that it's not about putting people down and tearing them up. It's about giving them feedback that will help them grow. I've also learned that when I get feedback, sometimes I take it with a grain of salt, because sometimes people will call me out on something and say, well, you didn't do this, and my face will go like, really? Where did you get that from? Because I know I had done that. Again, they're learning too, that's their thing. Sometimes I find that people will reach for things because they don't really know what to say. They don't want to be wrong. At the same time, they kind of nitpick because they have to say something. I take that with a grain of salt. What is good for me, I've learned, is that when people give you feedback, that helps to take you to the next level. If somebody were to say to me, Stephanie, I wanted to hear more about this. We only have 5 to 7 minutes. I can't go on and on and on. Or if somebody says, you lost me along the way, well, it makes me question your ability to keep up with things. Now, if you said something like, I was with you and you were talking about this, however, you took another turn and you started talking about that and I was a little confused, that's better than saying you lost me along the way. Please, don't ever say this. And I've learned as being a member because I felt what possibly the person getting this feedback felt. Please don't ever say to a member, I found myself drifting. I was thinking about other things. Because if you're supposed to be listening, especially if you're an evaluator, you're supposed to be listening. So that speaks volume to your ability as an evaluator. As Tamara said in her speech earlier, when she had a conversation on table topics, she said people don't listen. And that's true. Sometimes people listen to criticize, sometimes people listen for a purpose. And I believe, and I've learned since I've been a member, that it's far more valuable to listen with a purpose so that you can help